And FENWOMEN was the first book published by this sort of
Yes,
legendary feminist press.
Yes, yeah.
And when you started recording your conversations with the women in this village, were you thinking I'm going to make a feminist oral history? Was that your intention, or that was just what it came to be?
No, I think it was my intention. But it was a slightly kind of broader project than that, actually, because women's history was also starting, as a new field, and there were very few conventional sources that you could use for women's history. So one of the ways in which that history could be found, of course, was in memories. Mm-hmm. So you needed to kind of unlock those memories. But I deliberately didn't want it to be a particularly strident book, because I think, I guess that at the time, if it was, it would have a fairly narrow readership. And I deliberately wanted it to have as wide a readership as possible, because we thought these stories should be told. That was all part of the feminist project, mm-hmm. about reclaiming women's lives and giving voice to those who had been historically disenfranchised, if you like. Mm-hmm. So that was the broad ambition. And, now, of course, the whole field of oral history and of memory studies has become infinitely more sophisticated. But at the time, there was a kind of artifice that I thought I was creating, whereby I was letting the women speak for themselves, that, their voices would be there directly on the page. As I say now, I fully recognize and acknowledge that, of course, my intervention was absolutely critical from the first question I asked them to the last full stop I made on the transcript of their recording. So, but at the time, we believed that this was a kind of political, a political statement, and it was reclaiming and reasserting and informing about women's lives, and saying, well, actually, these women have something worth saying. It may be very humdrum. Mm-hmm. If they're talking about hanging out the washing or doing whatever it is, but it's those kind of activities that keep a community together, and ignore them, diminish them at your peril. Really, they are critical and need to be acknowledged.